It is 7:04. Sunrise is due in 4 minutes. But you know what? You can't see it. The clouds cover us today. Not supposed to rain, per se, but it's going to be cloudy today. So, we're not going to have the nice, beautiful sun for our ride this morning. But you know what? You can't win them all. You can't even win some of them. You just win a few. And they're the tastiest wins of all. Morning, Charles. Morning, Zach. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Gail. Gail, good to see you in here. So we had, today was the first day that we weren't awakened 1 to 2 hours before the alarm by the puppy. Because she was sleeping in Cindy's daughter's room with her. She loves her. And so I guess, she did all right. And we got to the alarm, and when she heard us stirring, that's when she began to stir. So that was pretty nice. Pretty nice. Yes, Chris, it is an early one. Make sure you have some coffee. Oh, believe me, I'm making a beeline for the coffee. Well, not really a beeline because I'm driving around first, but I'm gonna go get some coffee at my favorite coffee place. Good morning, Jacob. How are you? Jacob, did you just become a patron, or did you just raise your pledge amount? You did something on Patreon. Whatever it was good, and I thank you for it. Good morning, Nick. How are you? I see a lot of flashing light. Oh, it's school buses. Let's avoid that nonsense. And we're going to go right here, which we often do anyway, to Boyd School Road. Ooh. Morning, Donald. Sorry to hear Veronica is leaving the show. Really glad she will be doing... That's what she said. Yes, she will be doing That's What She Said. We record those on Sundays typically, or in the evenings. So, there's not a regular recording schedule for those. See, because we listened to my advice. Of course we did, because I'm producing the show. Was core half a year's shows before you put the first one out, so that you've got a cushion, ladies and gentlemen. And so the girls and I decided that we would release the shows on a monthly basis, and therefore we released one for them. And the reason you want that cushion is because for the vast majority of people who do podcasts, it is a hobby. And so the number one thing that you can do to guarantee that you fail is let life get in the way. Having a cushion. You don't, like for example, your favorite TV show, they don't record or film and edit an episode of their show when they have the time and then put it out. They record them all and edit them all and then release them on a regular schedule because you don't want to lose your audience. And there's so many podcasters that start, and again, most people aren't trying to make a living at it. They're not trying to do anything, what's the word? Not altruistic, but they're not trying to do anything good. And not that they're trying to do bad. I'm just saying that they don't have a higher, lofty purpose, which is to, like, for example, educate everybody about the Battle of Gettysburg and all that surrounds it. They just want to do it for the fun of it, and it's fun to do. Which it is, until it isn't. And so anyway, you gotta have that cushion. Because life gets in the way. Veronica and Bethany are very busy people. And so I knew, I was like, we gotta have our full first season, or at least half of it done, because of the way everybody's schedules are. So that's what she said. Jacob says, just raised, thank you as well. It's a font of knowledge. Well, you're very welcome. Thank you. That's what we try to make it. I think there's I gotta look, but there's got to be close to 300. See, I don't think that's what a lot of people. Somebody pointed this out to me the other day, who's a patron, and we're trying to think of ways to get new patrons. And he's like, how come you never point out that there's 2 years worth? Actually, I think it's 3 years worth of shows to listen to. There's a couple of hundred shows to go through. And I was like, oh yeah, I never thought of that. You'll be busy catching up on shows. Some people binge them. They just start from the beginning and they go all the way through. And God bless you if you can stand the sound of my voice that much. I don't know how the hell you do it. I hate editing. I hate listening to the show. And I have to do both, and it's because I can't stand listening to myself. It's I used to love it. Lyle love it, but I don't anymore. I mean, I love doing this. I don't love listening to myself. Rich Snyder says, oh, Rich, weren't you the one that said that, I think? I'm sure going to Miss Ronnie's banter with you and smile. But we'll still see her around. Yes, we will. Yeah, she's not moving or dying, so that's good. She'll just be working 9 to 5 like a normal human being. So we'll still see her for evening events and weekend events and all that. And I'm very happy for her career advancement. I am too, and I'm gonna miss all that stuff too. Bethany's very good, so it'll be fun to do it with Beth. But Veronica is probably, if you can compartmentalize your friends, I would say that she is my best friend here, and best platonic friend. I mean, and she. It's always fun to do things with your good friends. When I used to do podcasts, my lifelong best friend was my co-host, and I just had fun doing it with him because he cracks me up, right? I didn't care if the audience liked it. I liked it. I had fun. It was a fun hobby to do, and we did it. And so it was fun with Veronica. But look, here's the thing. Someone had said last night, "Oh man, the whole original crew is gone. Eric's gone. Veronica's gone." These guys volunteer. There's not enough revenue to pay anybody. I mean, I could pay somebody, hey, can you make this thing for me? Yeah, sure. Here's $300 or whatever they want. But like on a regular basis, I'd be broke. And so these guys do it out of the kindness of their hearts and the availability of their schedules. Um, I knew they weren't going to last forever. They have lives. They have things that are more important. And so every moment that I had with Eric, every moment that I had with Veronica, I remember sitting there just going, like, remember how nice this is, because it's not going to last forever. These guys are going to go on, move on, and do other things. And you got to keep going. And so, here we are. And it's for a good thing. Like I said to her last night, if it was like, I just don't like doing this anymore, like that would kind of hurt me. But it's not. This is a great thing. And like I said to her, like, dinner's on her from now on. So I'm very happy. I'm very excited about this. He's going to be a high-paid assistant DA. And also, Rich, Veronica will be, as we said, on That's What She Said. And so she'll still be present. Nick says, that's what I do when you take your breaks twice a year. I just go to the beginning and listen to as many as I can in that month. Yep. This year, I think during Christmas, 4 Patreon episodes from this year. So I'm gonna put up a post on Patreon and ask the patrons which 4 they would recommend. I know there's some authors who I said, well, it's around Christmas time. I can put your interview out, But I realized it would be coming right around Christmas time, so people wouldn't be able to get the books in time. Well, maybe they would. Who knows? So I don't know. I think I'm going to... I'll go through the list of shows that have come out this year. I'll pick the top 4... No. How's that going to work? I don't know. I'll pick 10 that I think were good ones. And then I'm going to ask you guys to vote on them, and the top 4 will be the ones that will be released. I think that's what I'll do. Jacob says, I'm binging right now, brother. It's not my voice, so I don't mind. Yeah, fair enough. I guess people hate the sound of their own voice. I don't hate the sound of my own voice. I'm sick of the sound of my own voice. There's a difference. The first time I ever heard my recorded voice played back to me as a little kid, I did not have that feeling that most people have. I mean, I did notice that it sounds a lot different than it does in my head, but it wasn't anything off-putting. A lot of people, you're not supposed to hear yourself. We're not supposed to be able to see and hear people who've been dead for decades or minutes. Like the technology we have, that like it's not normal for human beings to see and hear people who are long gone. So nothing that we live in now is normal for the human wiring. In my opinion. What the hell do I know? What am I, an anthropologist? Edward says, morning, up early, gotta drop friend off at Oakland Airport. Heat wave in Northern California, 81 at the coast. Hoo-wee. 81 already, which is what time is it out there? It's not even morning. You are up early. Balthazar says your Liberty Park interview this week was very insightful, adding that in my classroom into Reconstruction conflicts. Good. I don't really know much of anything of significance about Reconstruction. I remember they glossed over it in school, and that's where it ended for me. Because it never appealed to me when I was younger, because where's all the big battles, but there's now that I'm older and I'm more thinking about the Roman Empire, all of these things, the intertwining of politics and social and cultural issues and military from the Civil War, are a little more poignant and a little more interesting to me now. And so Reconstruction, that might be something I can get into eventually. First things first, though, I want to get into more of the lead up to the war, because again, that was what I really was never interested in before. So I want to get a really firm grasp on that. But who has the time? Sorry, the windshield is a little foggy because of, atmospheric shit. But whatever. Donald says, you have so many guests, it's not like listening to the same voice over and over. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. And I try to make it about the guests. I mean, every once in a while I feel playful and fun, and I'll maybe talk a little too much. But I try not to. I try to be a personality, not an interviewer. But I try not to overshadow the guests, like the guests. And at first, it was easy to do that because I'm like, this is what I must do. This is the way the formula has to be. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about the guest. This is going to make you different than everybody else. It's not about you. It's not about you. And I had to train my brain to think that. And then I got used to that. And now I'm so exhausted that I'm like, I'll ask a question and just go ahead, guest, talk as long as you want so I can take a nap. And not have to. So now it's easy. I want the guests to talk more. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, David. How are you? How you feeling, Dave? Oh. Yes, we've got some clouds here today in Gettysburg, and it's going to be in the 50s next week, which is a real bummer, because we're getting towards winter, and by winter I mean winter. Okay, getting better, says Dave. Big event this weekend, and I'm trying to shake this cough before then. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Every time I try to shake something before something, guess what happens? I don't shake it. Sometimes I get sicker. It's like my body's saying, will you relax? And I'm like, no, I can't relax. I have a thing this weekend. Next weekend's my big thing. I have to do the panel with Joe and Bo. And I am I want to think. I'm trying to think of something to do that would be a little different than your typical panel. Um, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I think it's because I've already interviewed these guys, so I kind of know. Maybe that's it. I don't need to overthink it, and I have a good rapport with them both. So maybe we could just sit there and talk. I don't know. I don't know. That's right, Zach. Hit the like button. All right, as we can see, we're still got some kind of work going on here on West Confederate, although it is paved. The whole road is paved. And they did it in like no time. That was the amazing thing. Dave has events every weekend through mid-November. No time for recovery. What a perfect time to start getting sick. Ugh. Plus your normal weekly job and everything. Oh my God, Dave. Just had a conversation about continent slaves was not a factor in leading to the Civil War. Oh boy, who would tell us about that, Francis? Who was? Well, don't say who, but where was this done? Was this a stranger or somebody you know? I hope you're right, David. I hope the panel will be great. Oh, is this somebody going the wrong way? Yes. Maybe it's a construction guy. We're playing chicken. We're playing chicken. Playing chicken. It's one way, sir. Or is it a government? Yeah, it's one of them. All right. Never mind. So let's take a look at a Misty Pickett's charge. Yeah, I hope the panel will be great. By the way, this weekend, Friday, Thursday, I don't know when, but there's going to be a slew of episodes released on the free feed for those of you who might be interested in hearing interviews with the actors that I've kept on Patreon. That's where they're going to be released. They've been around on Patreon for a few years now. So, yeah, I'm going to put them out because it's the anniversary, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget, this is the most important part, I think, that a lot of people don't realize. Don't forget, folks, that the promo code MOVIE30 will get you, I think it's 15% off all of the movie designs in our sutlery, which is found at addressinggettysburg.com/shop. And that those designs are going to be discontinued by January 1st. We'll go in a different direction with the look of things. We're kind of slimming down the store. There's a lot of things up on the store, because you try it. You get an idea, you have it made, and you throw it out there and you try it, and you never know what'll hit and what'll miss. So you got to throw it out, and so we did. And for the most part, the there's maybe like 5 of the designs that are regular sellers. But yeah, the rest of them, not so much. So we're going to discontinue them, and we're going to move towards doing brigade and regimental and individual like persons designs. So if you ever said, oh, I might like to get one of those one day, well, you got only a couple months left. and you can get a discount if you get them now. So don't forget that. I got a question for you all. Who else is mad at Steve Miller for the song Abracadabra? Raise your hand. Ah, yes. I see that. A lot of people. A lot of people. Kevin, I don't think Francis is saying he was making that argument. I think he's saying the other person made that argument. Yeah, I want to reach out and grab you. What? That is the laziest lyric writing I've ever heard in my life. Abracadabra. I want to reach out and grab you. What? Grab it and then do what? The music is good. I can't remember if it was... No, it wasn't Norm Macdonald. It must have been Adam Carolla. I caught a clip. I guess Adam Carolla has a show. Who doesn't these days? And he was going on this rant about Steve Miller and how he hates him and he's the worst. And he was really going into the lyrics. And he didn't... Not so much on Abracadabra, but that's the one that bugs me. But I never really listened. I never paid much attention to the lyrics because I like the music of the Steve Miller Band, and I was like, well, this is just good music, you know. But now, if you think about it, though, one of the ones they pointed out was someone was a detective down in Texas. You know, he knows just exactly what the facts is. What? I mean, it makes sense, and I get it. It's like slang, you know. It's not slang, scat, not scat, but it's like blues talk. And but God, that's what the facts is. Okay. I mean, I get what you're doing there, Steve Miller, but geez, well, whatever. He made millions of dollars off of it, so obviously, what do I know? Oh, okay, Kevin. Just wanted to make sure. Didn't want fireworks in the comment section between you and Francis. Now let's see. I noticed last couple weeks ago that when it is cloudy, I don't lose service here in the Enchanted Forest. Let's see if we do now. We did yesterday, right about here, and it was sunny yesterday. He makes his living off the people's taxes. Is that the line? Did I screw up the line? How does that sound? This is a story about Billy Joe, Bobby Sue, two young lovers with nothing. Better let it back, better boo. And here's what happened when they decided to cut loose. Billy Joe. Now I see. I can't remember. I don't know it by heart, so I can't do it. But yeah. Okay. So cloudy weather, and this makes sense. Cloudy weather is for better cell service down here. Never mind. He landed. There was a blue heron, and he was flying right alongside me, basically. Oh, that's the next line. Okay, got it. What was the other? What's the other one that he had? It was it's not a bad one. Northern California. We don't care about Steve Miller. We're over Steve Miller. We're done. All So we're coming up here on the top of the Devil's Den. Wonder how long the fence is going to be up for. Space Cowboy. Some people call me the Space Cowboy. Nobody called you that, Steve. Nobody called you the Space Cowboy because no, it doesn't exist. Cow and boys can't survive in space. You can't herd cattle in space. So, what is the Space Cowboy? Some call me the gangster of love. Okay, I'm also going to doubt that one. Some people call me Maurice. I believe that. Because now he made this word up because I speak of the that I just made it up. So it's made up a word. Okay, whatever. He's a creative guy. He can just make up a word if he wants to. Because he couldn't think of a word to describe love. Okay. Oh, cholera, Kizzy to Freddie Tazbear. Oh, yes. Absolutely right, gamer. And thank you for spamming me. Because that means I get more views and the algorithm doesn't know the difference. Some people call me more. Oh, yeah. People poppers to love. People keep talking about me, baby. Yeah, and your bad lyrics. Say I'm doing you wrong. With your lyrics. Don't you worry, don't worry, no, don't worry, mama. Because I'm right here at home. Okay, not bad. I'm a picker, I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, I'm a sinner. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn and a king. Get my lovin' on the run. Is that right? I'm a picker, I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, I'm a sinner. Get my lovin' on the run. I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. No, the other way around. Sure don't want to hurt no one. Get my lovin' on the run. Alright. Woo, woo. Ugh. Big old jet airliner. So big old jet airliner is funny. I had this one friend back in high school, and he was not the best at interpreting lyrics to songs. And we all do this where we mishear lyrics, right? And I think really what limits that, or what influences what you hear. Now look at this. You got a group, and the guide is letting them stand right in the middle of the road. Oh, now you move. Hold on a second. All right, so, he was really bad at lyrics. So we were driving around listening to Q104.3 classic rock, and that song came on, and we had to. We were singing along because we were in a band, so we thought we were going to be the Eagles. And I think we were coming up to a drive-through. It was something we had to slow down and turn the music down. And as we had to turn the music down, the lyric "Big Old Jet Airliner" came on, or was it got to that point in the song as we faded out. And so as that was fading down, I could hear him continuing to sing "Big Hotel with the Light on." And the girl behind the thing's like, "Can I take your order?" And I started cracking up because I realized he's been singing that wrong line for God knows how long. So yeah, so Big Old Jet Airliner. How's that one start? What's the first line of that song? That's another good song. They're good songs. Just the lyrics are kind of like you're insulting our intelligence. Good morning, Eric. Picking up your student for the weekends. Oh, she missed. I forgot to tell her about. We recorded a show with That's What She Said with Sue Boardman last week, and it was really good. And I wanted to introduce her to Sue, but I forgot to call her because I forgot that we had a show until about that morning. So it was enough to get me there. Leaving home out on the road, I've been there before. So I don't think I ever knew these words. But the melodies are good. The melodies are good. The background music is good. You know you got to get to hell before you go through hell before you get to heaven. Big hotel with the light on. Don't carry. And how's a hotel with a light on going to carry you too far away? It's a hotel. It doesn't move. Like, think about the lyrics, Jay. Damn. Oh, well, I've been working real hard and I'm trying to find a job, but it just keeps getting tougher every day. No, that was the other. Wait. Oh, God. Now I got to listen to Steve Miller. They're actually good songs. I'm going to add them to my playlist. I never had Steve Miller in my collection, CDs back in the day. But now, thanks to YouTube, I can just go and add songs to my playlist. Yes, early again, Barbara. Early again. Hello. But I gotta do my part, cause I know in my heart I'm gonna be with you, baby, yeah. So, in case you missed the news last night, during the news, Veronica read a reminder from the National Park Service, Gettysburg National Military Park, to be exact. What was the reminder? Oh, yeah. That the hours during the off season, well, any season, all year long, are not fixed. So in other words, it's never, 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 or anything like that. It moves, it changes every day, basically. It is sunrise to sunset, okay? You got a buffer, ladies and gentlemen, a Jimmy buffer. You've got a half hour before sunrise, so like first light, I guess, to a half hour after. Now, of course, people are going to go, well, I can stay a half hour. Okay, fine, do what you want. Technically, you can. But be careful, because, everybody's interpretation of what dark is a little different. And as we pointed out on the show last night, Cam had a little run-in with law enforcement, had a wrestling match with them, because he's been walking, and he was walking down around the wheat field area, and he just went a little too far out, miscalculated, okay? And he was coming back to his car, which was parked at the gravel lot on Little Round Top, and he sees law enforcement around his car, looking in the windows, letting the air out of his tires. And he's like, what the heck? And so he goes up and they're like, hey man, you got to be out of here. Park closes at sunset. Oh, there's still light. And it was like barely any light at this point. And it's probably just, getting basically dark. And they go, no, it's not. Sunset is, and this is the thing. People don't understand. Everybody has a different idea what sunset is. To Cam's mind, and probably for the first 12 years of my life, sunset was sunset was all that time around the sun going down, but as long as there was light, it was sunset. But that's not really the case. Sunset is when the sun goes behind the mountains, at least here, goes behind the mountains. You can't see the sun anymore. Not its light, the big ball of fire in the sky. The big yellow one's the sun. That is sunset. So, just a reminder in case you didn't hear the show last night, and this is especially, not, the park isn't directing this, but I'm directing this at you ghost hunters. Because, look, let me be honest, if you ghost hunters weren't abusing the night privileges in the old days, the old hours, of going out there till 10 o'clock at night, taking pictures of the friggin' air, and then when your flash reflects off of pollen in the air or some kind of dust from something, you think it's a ghost. If it weren't for you, we'd still be allowed to go out there. And the park never said this. I'm saying this. This is my deduction. I have figured this out. Because you know why? It used to be so ridiculous. If you were driving down the Emmitsburg night after dark, the Emmitsburg Road at night after dark, but before 10 o'clock, and you look, as you pass the Devil's Den area, you look over towards it, you would think there were all these fireflies there, but really big ones. But no, it was camera flashes, just constant bing, 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 flash, 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 flash. People trying to catch a ghost in the triangular field. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to tell you there are no ghosts in Gettysburg. It is all made up. All of it is made up. All of it. People go, well, no, I had an experience. You are in an old building. Old buildings are an experience in and of themselves. I'm moving out of one now. There's all these things in old buildings that you don't have in your modern house or in your modern hotel. Everything, I'm sure, that you think is a ghost can be explained away. So I know you love to believe this shit, but it's just stop it. Grow up! By the way, Halloween we'll be doing our ghost story special. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. Barbara says she saw Miller in 2019. Still good, but I think he forgot the words a little in one song. Yeah, well, okay, so the lyrics may not be good, but what he does do, which I think is pretty talented, pretty masterful, is, and let me think if I can think of an example. It's the way he plays with syllables and the rhythm of the lyrics. And of course, I know I sang one of them, one I'll do it, but he does interesting things with that. And again, the melodies are good. The word, not the word. The music is good. The playing is good. It's just he works so hard on the music. He goes, the lyrics don't matter. Yes, Dean, that is correct. I went from Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to Tacoma, Philadelphia, Atlanta, LA. Northern California, where the girls I want. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Michael says they should have a time period like 2100 instead of dark, maybe 1600 in the winter. No, they used to do that. They don't want to do that now. In the winter, it was till sunset. In the summer, it was until 10 o'clock. But they don't do that anymore. No, I think it's very simple. Sunrise to sunset. Everybody can see it. You don't need a clock. You don't need a watch. You don't need anything. You just look. You need eyes. And if you don't have eyes, find someone who does. And if they don't have eyes, keep looking or keep feeling around until you find someone who has eyes, and then say, hey, is it sunrise? Is it sunset? Can I be here? They'll answer you. That sound that you're hearing, in case you're wondering, is me running over acorns and walnuts, other things. Dogface says, MPS kept telling us it was all the drug dealing that went on after hours. What are you talking about? Drug dealing? Anybody who deals drugs on federal property is the dumbest of the dumb. And you have to be pretty dumb to be a criminal. Although a lot of them are pretty smart and wild. They're clever. They're not smart. They're clever. They're not intelligent. But you'd have to be dumb to sell drugs on federal property. Dr. J. Now, of course, if you're talking about by selling drugs, if you mean dopey ghost stories, then yes, I see what you're saying. Dr. James says, can we get a t-shirt with there are no ghosts in Gettysburg? I would love, yes. Yes, and we'll base it off of the Got Ghosts t-shirt that's very popular. Although I don't know, though. See, I think I'm kind of an outlier here. I don't think as many people have disdain for the ghost stuff as I do. As much disdain. I mean, Tim Smith does, of course, but I think it's me and Tim. I think everybody else puts it in perspective, which Tim and I do too. You do understand that a lot of what I do and a lot of what Tim does is shtick, right? Like, we're playing the character of grumpy people. Somewhat. We're still kind of grumpy people, but we're amplifying it. You're in the area that the ghost hunters hit a lot back in the day. Yeah, I can't read and drive. I'm about to turn here. Yes. Yes, the ghost hunters, they've scoured the field. They've scoured the fields. Yeah, I threw a little Brian Regan in there for you. I got confused yesterday, says Barbara, when you said Rothman couldn't talk about the movie. Well, no, I saw your comment when I was closing the show, and had I seen it, I would have addressed it. How can they talk about the movie, right? How can they come here and talk about the movie? I don't know. That's a great question. Because I know that one of the concerns over the summer when things were still being planned was, we'll see how the strike goes, because they might not be able to talk about the movie. But as far as my interviews go, and I'm probably going to do this with Joseph and Bo, um, and I would do this with John. A lot of these people, I very little of the interview is spent talking about the movie Gettysburg, because I mean, except for Tom Berenger and Bo and Brian Mallon, yeah, the the guys that I've had on had smaller parts, like they were in just a couple or one or a few scenes. So there's not a lot to talk about because a lot of them were flown in for a day, like Trent Walker. Like I think he was there for a day, shot a scene, fighting for my rats, and that was it. So I had to, fill an hour and a half. So let's talk about Trent and him and his career and all this other stuff. Um, what else? Yeah, so I wouldn't be talking about it anyway. So Bo and Joe, I think that we're gonna. And now Bo was in a lot of scenes. Joseph was in just a few, but they were. It was a few or one. It was one scene, wasn't it? But it was a memorable scene. I have told you there's no time for that. So it's a memorable scene, and we'll talk about that. We talked about that in the interview. Now his interview, I'm going to put out another interview that I did with him last fall, and that's going to come out for free. The first interview we did with him, I listened to it the other day. It's not as bad as I initially thought, but honestly, I've said this before. Like, there's Joseph and I joke around a lot. He's gay, and so he makes self-deprecating jokes, and I was joining him, and then it was like, well, you can't say that because you're not gay, and then it was like, oh right, I can't say that, and then it's the back and forth stuff going on, but everybody's so uptight now. I don't want to put that out there, even though it's like totally innocuous, but I figure, that is going to stay where it is on Patreon. And if you want to hear it, you can go listen to it on Patreon. And if you're going to get pissed at us, well, at least I made a couple bucks off of you, and it's worth the nonsense that you're going to cause. But, yeah. So there's another interview, a new interview that'll be out for free with Joseph. Not as funny, though, because we got all of our giggles out earlier in the day when we were shooting video with Gary. But regardless, we'll have fun. I don't know. We'll talk about anything. We could talk about their careers. We just can't talk about movies because even though it's a 30-year-old movie, I think it's considered promoting a movie. I don't really know. I really don't understand that. I know this is going to piss people off, but I think unions suck. And, this is why. This is one of the reasons why. It's like you can't talk about something you did 30 years ago. Silly. And I don't care what cockamamie reason somebody, if you can tell me why that is, I don't care. It's stupid. Tom Candyman, what if it's cloudy to dum-dum? I missed that. Morning, Andy. How are you doing? Are ghosts getting residuals for the tours? They should. T-shirt. John Burns yelling at a ghost, telling him, get off my lawn. Well, unfortunately, the get off my lawn is somebody else's design, so I could talk to him about making that, though. He's my good buddy. Andy, both of you are vying for the modern version of curmudgeon John Burns when it comes to your stances on ghosts. Yeah, absolutely. I have so many problems with it. First of all, listen, I knew when I owned Getty's bike, none of these people are in business anymore. I don't even remember the names of their companies, but I knew two couples who were ghost tour operators. And they flat out told me that they just make up the stories. Now, for me, I don't like that, right? Because they're not presenting it as I made this up. But to people who are into ghosts, they don't care. They don't care. They want to believe. Okay, so fine. You want to believe. I don't like people being played a fool, and I don't like fools. So, there you go. It just frustrates me on a very human level. I don't understand it. I used to I wanted to see a ghost so bad. I was like, please, I hope this place is haunted. Like, I want to see it. What are you afraid of? I forget who we were talking about this with the other day. But, like, oh, who was saying it? Oh, Sue Boardman. Right, we were talking about when we were doing, that's what she said. We were talking about ghosts, and I guess Bethany said that she knows somebody who won't go and stay at a certain place because it's haunted. And Sue was like, why? That's why I would go. I want to see something. And I go, yeah, exactly. And I go, what are they going to do to you? Like, of all these ghost stories you've heard, do any of them end with somebody going, and then they killed me? No, they don't. They don't kill you. They're not. This isn't a movie. It's a. So I would like to see it. I'm not afraid of it. I want to see a ghost. I want it. But I've lived in this town for 10 years. I have lived in old houses in this town for 10 years. And I have seen nothing. And I wanted to. I wanted to wake up in the middle of the night and see a shadowy figure standing at the foot of my bed saying, you will be visited by 3 spirits or something, I don't know. And nothing. So I became a skeptic because I saw nothing. Yes, Kevin, that's the other point. Yeah, good point. The park posts closing times on their website. Now, I don't know, because in the all year long, closing time changes, sunset changes, but it's very drastic in the winter. So, because it's early. So, it's very... Anyway, just check the park. How about this? When you can see the sun, you could be there. When you can't see the sun, get the hell out. Not the light, the sun. Thank you. Tom Canterbury, you get too far back in chat looking for sunrise or sunset. That was the shtick drum roll oh, gotcha. If you go out in the dark to see or hear something, your mind will trick you, so you will think you see or hear things. Exactly, Michael. If I'm going out in the woods, not thinking about ghosts, and suddenly on the trail in front of me, something appears, I would be more inclined to believe that that's a ghost. However, if I go out ghost hunting and a squirrel farts in a tree, now I'm going to think, oh my God, it's a ghost. And it's talking to me. Kevin, I have been on... let me rephrase this. I have been dragged on about 8 ghost tours in my day. And... Please. Ouija board while sitting on the rocks at Devil's Den. Sarah says, now you should start whistling. I don't get it, Sarah. What am I whistling for? What should I whistle? You should have been a singer, you and Bethany. No one would ever come. Why do you never whistle in a graveyard, Tom? Andy says, love that part about my mind. I have had some cool visions about the Civil War waking up in a Union soldiers camp. Best mind trick ever. Jacob says, Matt suffers no one. Certainly not ghosties. I'm trying to think of what type of behavior I don't like but will put up with. At this age, none. When I was younger, I'd put up with a lot of shit that I didn't like. I think most people do that. Maybe it's just disrespectful to whistle in a graveyard? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, that was the parking department's truck that just went by. Don't get me started on the parking department. Kevin says, first ghost tours I recall were done by Loring's daughter and started at Farnsworth House. Were popular. Yeah, of course they were popular. So I guess, okay, let's say you have 2, maybe 3 ghost tours. Okay, I can live with that, right? And they're popular. It's a novelty. It's a fun little thing. But there's like 78,000 ghost tours. I think it's 78,002 to be exact, in Gettysburg. And that is oversaturation. And it's annoying. Andy says, Matt, it's more who will put up with your behavior. Yeah, well, yes. There's definitely that too. Like, you find people who will put up with your behavior and you can put up with theirs. And you're like, okay, this can work. And, you know, I think when you're up to a certain age, when you're younger, proximity makes you think you must be friends. This kid's in my class. This kid's on my team. This kid's in the neighborhood. We must be friends. And maybe for a good number of years you can keep that going because you do something together. You have a common interest. But once that common interest is taken away, and then you realize, yeah, I'm not really friends with this person at all. And yeah, it's funny how that goes. So and then you get older and, well, no, so because of proximity, you think you have to be friends with someone, and then you'll put up with stuff that really isn't you because, you're afraid you're going to lose a friend because everything's forever when you're a kid, right? Then you get older and, you still kind of have that feeling, but, people come, people go. Then you get to like 40. I don't know. It's like a magical switch occurred or flipped in my head. I got to 40 and I was like, who cares? That became my my mantra, my catchphrase. Who cares? Kevin says, by the way, I've never and will never attend a ghost tour anywhere. Well, that's not exactly my message. Their businesses, they contribute to the local economy, their entertainment. My problem is with the misleading of the gullible and the desperate to believe. When you're making up stories, first of all, if you're making up stories and putting them out in your ghost books, don't tell anybody that. Number one. Number two, I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's like, I have this thing where when I see someone's enthusiasm for something else that I don't understand, it annoys me. And if I'm being honest with myself, it probably annoys me because I don't see what's making them so happy, and I want to be happy. So I understand I'm an asshole, but when I see people, full grown adults, by the way, I'm not talking about children, I'm talking about full grown adults walking around, taking pictures of the air. Oh God, please, come on, I don't need to go on with this. But anyway, go on a ghost tour, see what they're about. They're fun. And especially, listen, don't be rude, but as history nerds, you definitely need to go on a ghost tour. Because here's the thing, you're going to meet people who go, oh, I love Gettysburg. I love the history. Oh, yeah, you do? And then you engage them in a conversation. And then they'll say things like, like, I think one of the things is hold on, right over there. That's the annex. The other side of that fence is the annex to the cemetery. And I think there's a ghost story that says, like, there's, 20 million Confederate soldiers buried in an unmarked trench right there, or some bullshit like that. So as the history nerd, you can go on these tours, and you can hear these things these people are saying, and then that way later when you meet someone who claims they love history and they come to Gettysburg all the time because they love the history, and then they make an outrageous claim like that, and you go, where'd you hear that? And they go, the guide on the tour that we took last weekend. The guide on the tour that you took. And I go, do you remember the guide's name? No, I don't. And I go, so a guide told you this? Yes. Now you're thinking licensed battlefield guide because that's the only guide that matters here in Gettysburg. To you. To me. But then suddenly you realize they're talking about a ghost tour guide. And they're not misunderstanding the history that the ghost tour guide told them. That is what the ghost tour guide told them. And I was on one, and every stop there was something that made me have to bite my lip. And my cousin dragged me on it because her kid wanted to do it, and they wanted me to come with them. So I went begrudgingly. I kicked and screamed, but I went. Because when somebody says, come on, the kids want you to go, oh, you asshole, now I gotta go. So I go. And every stop, there was something. And she would stand next to me and she'd squeeze my wrist. And she'd be like, just let it go. Just let it go. I remember we were down by the Heritage Center. And she pointed out to, the Bryan Farm area, the field of Pickett's Charge. And we're not allowed to do a ghost tour on the battlefield. Thank God. And she says, behind me is the field of Pickett's Charge. And everybody knows that of the 51,000 casualties sustained here at Gettysburg, the vast majority of them were sustained right in that field behind me. And that is not true. And at that point, I turned around and walked over to ABC, ordered a beer, sat in the beer garden and texted my cousin. And I said, come to the beer garden when you're done. I can't take any more of this. And I can't remember the other ones, but every stop there was something. No, actually, Andy, you're right. I'm sorry, town guides too. But they were talking specifically about battlefield stuff that a battlefield guide would tell you, not the town guide. But yeah, the town guide, battlefield guides, as long as they're licensed, I would say you can guarantee that you're going to have yourself a nice time. I love this stuff. Just Google the whistling thing when people do it. It's usually to summon someone. Oh, it might lure the devil or evil spirits. Gotcha. All right, that makes sense. Ghost tours are fine if they talk about local culture and how people lived back then. Watch some done in New Orleans so you get some real knowledge. Do you get real knowledge, Michael, though? That's the thing. If you don't know, if you're not from New Orleans, if you don't know New Orleans history, this is your first time there and you take a ghost tour and you're trusting that this person knows what they're talking about. Honestly, my experience with ghost tours here has made me distrust any kind of tour anywhere else unless there's some type of licensing body or authority like we have here in Gettysburg, and they have one of those licenses. Then I would believe it. But just somebody who says, I've been studying the battle for 25 years and now I do ghost tours. Why are you doing ghost tours? Like, come on. But the public doesn't think through like that. All that, whatever. Would love to see a Tim Smith ghost tour. Hey, them Ghosts of Gettysburg books can be a real fun read. I'm not saying they're not a fun read. Just stop acting like they're the gospel. I don't mind ghost tours, Kevin says, as long as business, but they're not for me. I never went to strip bars either. Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, don't get me started on strip bars, Kevin. What? Who? I've been to one. All right? I was 23, and a bunch of guys from work were like, hey, let's go. Actually, no, it was one of the girls at work. She was like, I've always wanted to go to a strip club. You guys want to go to a strip club? And we're like, yeah. So we go to the strip club, and as soon as I walk in there, I wanted to leave. I don't understand. Now, okay, it's pathetic on both sides. The girls are pathetic that, this is what they have to do. Now, I understand a lot, if you're working at a high-class place and you're really good looking, you could make a lot of money, and so is that really pathetic? Yeah, it is actually still pathetic. It's like an OnlyFans girl. You're pathetic. You need to have a little respect for yourself, right? But then on the other hand, you got these pathetic guys. I'm sorry you're unhappy in your marriage, sir. I'm sorry you're whatever. But you're actually giving your hard-earned money to a woman who is not going to do anything more than reach out and take your money. You're not getting lucky. Come on. It was bad. I just did not like it at all. It was really a sad environment. So I'm with you on that, Kevin. Strip clubs are awful. Cam loves them, though. No, he doesn't. I'm just teasing. Tom Canavan, dust bunnies are really ghost turds, according to my drill sergeant. Andy, what about town? Oh, yeah, okay, I read that one. Dogface, I agree. They are a fun read. Okay, all right. Everybody relax. Everybody relax. Paul says, I can still hear that ghost tour group screaming, OMG, Confederate soldiers. Me and my buddies stopped, look around while wearing British World War I uniforms. So we smiled and waved at them and walked in the bar. Oh, boy. Marie's training a coworker today. Congratulations, Marie. Yeah, you should train them to. That's a great. Kevin says you should train them to tune in to this show every morning, and actually, that should be a prerequisite to their day. That should be in the job description. Ghost of Sickles Leg says, "I believe everything I am told on the hollowed streets of Gettysburg." Miss Lindsay's. I wouldn't even do a U-turn in that parking lot. That was the nastiest looking place. And from what I heard from locals who had gone there, they were like, yeah, it's scary inside. So no, thank you. Yeah, Marcia has some pretty good advice. Get a local person that has lived in here all their life, and you will learn more than any tour guides. I think I think you'll learn. I don't know about more than any tour guides, but I think you will learn different things. I'll give you a good example, and you're right, Marcy, because we took a tour. Not it wasn't a tour. It was Jen Murray and Michael Walker had just gotten a group of us together, and we're like, let's just walk from Ziegler's Grove down to the copse of trees. And Michael brought some pictures, and like anybody just talk or whatever. We'll just talk about whatever. No, it's not a tour. It's just whatever comes to our mind. And Dean Schultz was with us. And Rich, if you're still watching, you were there, and you'll remember this. At the end, we started asking Dean questions about like what was it like growing up here, what was it like playing on the battlefield as a kid, and blah 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 blah. And yeah, you're absolutely right. We learned so much more history that way. I mean, for example, that's when I learned that there was a time when the park had no hours, meaning it never opened, it never closed, it was always open. It's like God, never, no beginning, no end. Uh, it was just 24 hours a day you could go through the park. But of course, some bad apples ruin it, and then they start coming up with hours. So thanks, bad apples. Yeah, you know what, Rich? I would agree. That was probably my favorite memory from last season as well. It was definitely the most... I don't know if unique is the word, but it was different. It was a different experience. It wasn't a tour. You know, I have nothing... I like tours. I love tours, actually. But once in a while, I'd like a tour with a tour guide or someone who knows what they're talking about. That isn't a tour, it's a casual walk. Like Bob Steenstra and I used to go for walks almost daily back in 2018, 2019. We used to do that. And we'd walk on the battlefield, and he'd quiz me, and I'd ask him questions, or he'd show me things I didn't know. I loved that. It was just a walk. It wasn't a tour, but you know, I was going with a guide. I remember we walked to the ramp of the Rose Farm barn to get a view, and this was in winter, to get a view of the wheat fields and Stony Hill and all that down there at Rose's Woods. And he described the action to me, and then he'd be like, all right, describe it back to me. And yeah, that was nice. I really liked that. That was fun. So this was similar to that. It was just a bunch of friends, you know, walking around talking about whatever interests them. It was a good time. It was not scripted. It was organic. Yes, exactly. Kevin says was working near Columbia 30 years ago, going to a bar after work for a while, but they started having strippers, so I had to find a new bar. The Go-Go Bar in Tuckerton, New Jersey, while the Coast Guard was out on the water there, wives were dancing trying to pick up... Oh my God. Those poor servicemen with the wives that... Man... My ex was... Her husband was in the Army, and they lived on base. And she was telling me that she was appalled at how many of the women were cheating on their husbands while they were overseas. Not like while they're at work at the office during the day. While they are overseas in harsh conditions, missing home, probably thinking about her very often, and risking his life every goddamn day. Like, she was just appalled by that. I was too, when I heard that. Wait, what is BKW saying here? I'm missing something. BKW, I have you saying, and I stumbled into it and listened for 10 minutes. Only my third time ever to the park. What did you stumble into and listen to for 10 minutes? What is it? Kevin says, Tom, of course, they're regular people and getting paid well. I just don't like being teased looking at stuff I can't get a hold of. That's my problem, Kevin. I don't like the tease, and it's costing me money. Wait, I'm giving you money to be teased. Why am I going to do that? And I also just think, like, what happened to you? I see. That's where I go. My mind goes with that, with everything. I go, what? Who hurt you? Who didn't hug you enough? What happened to you that this is what you're doing? It's sad. All right. You know what also is sad? That I've been up since 6, and I've yet to have a cup of coffee or breakfast. Oh, when I was by the tree. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Marie says, how the hell did conversation get on to strip clubs? Ask Kevin. He brought it up. He's like, what's the best strip club in the area? And I'm like, Kevin, how dare you? This is a family show. By the way, if the family's listening, a strip club is a place where you go and get strip steak. But you have to be a member of a club because people really love strip steak. So, there you go. All right, everybody. I'm going in for coffee, and I am going to say goodbye to you. Got a lot of editing to do today. That's what I'm going to do, and that's it. So you guys have yourselves a great day. I will talk to you Monday, unless something exciting happens over the weekend that I want to share with you. Talk to you later.